So today we're talking about a product review that I'm super excited about. I kind of gave a sneak preview of this a couple of weeks ago and just kind of showed you guys the back of the bag. And some of you guessed right, it's the Blu Tech water filtration system. So I've been using it for a couple of weeks now, and I'll be honest with you, I am not going back to my previous filter. Not gonna happen. And we're gonna talk about why that is. Now let's get the disclaimer out of the way right off the bat. Blu Tech did reach out to me about this product, basically sent us this water filtration system for an honest review, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. But first, let's take this thing out and see what's in the bag. So this is the Blu Technology AR3 water filtration system. And really, at this point, this is just the basic setup. It's the water filter, a couple of disconnects, and that's about it for now. Before we get to why I'm never going back to my old filtration system again, let's get the basics out of the way. And what I mean by that is let's just talk about the basic specs on this thing and the different filters. And I'm just gonna grab these straight off of their website using my phone because I don't really wanna miss anything. So first, and I know this is important to a lot of people, it's important to us as well, this is a US-based company. So those of us who like to support US-based companies, well, here we go. Next, this is obviously a 3-stage filtration system. So let's talk about those filters real quick. First, we've got this longevity filter is what they call it. And really that thing's just designed to take all the big stuff out, like the rust and the sand and dirt, anything that might be in that water that you could actually probably feel and taste in your mouth. Next, we've got the off-grid filter, and this is going to take out all of the really nasty stuff that's in the water. Doesn't matter where you go. You could be off-grid somewhere. You could be in a campground. A lot of campgrounds have terrible water. This middle filter here, the off-grid filter, this is gonna take all of the really bad stuff out of the water. And the last one, this is my favorite one. Number one, because of the name, but number two, what it does, this is the tasty filter. So this is the one that's gonna make your water taste really good. And if you've watched us in the past, you know that we are what we call water snobs. We simply would not live in this RV without really good, high quality, tasty water, and this thing so far over the past couple of weeks has not disappointed. And since we're on the topic of the filters, they claimed this thing's going to last about 3 to 4 months, which even though these filters are a lot smaller than my previous system, that's right at about the same time frame that I was having to replace the filters in that unit as well. And these are high flow filters as well, and we've seen zero decline in pressure or water flow inside of the rig, and that's super important. And this thing's got an electroplated aluminum frame with stainless steel filter cartridges. So even though this thing is probably going to sit outside 99% of the time that we have it, it should hold up to all of the weather and the sunshine very, very well. And then last but not least, let's talk about space and weight, right? Because that's always important in an RV. This thing, as you can see, is not very big at all. I don't know the exact dimensions. I'll put them on the screen right down here. But not only does it have a small form factor, but it's extremely light. So my old system empty came in at about 28 pounds. So that's just the filter assemblies and the frame. That's not even counting how much it weighs when it's full of water. This thing empty weighs about 10 pounds. And then when the cartridges are full of water, it comes in just shy of about 20 pounds. So it's far lighter than my previous system, and it's far lighter than most other systems out there. And as far as these quick disconnects go, these are also made out of stainless steel, so they're gonna last a really long time, and you don't have to worry about these connectors making your drinking water unsafe for any reason. Stainless steel connectors, I really, really love these things. And so here's probably the most important part of this video that you guys want to hear, which is why I'm never going back to my previous system. And I'm not going to name that system in this video, but if you want to know what system we've used in the past, you can easily go back to some of our previous videos and figure that out on your own. So the reason I'm never going back to that system is the space and the weight. Hands down, that's the biggest upgrade switching over to this Blu Technology system. This thing is so light and it's so compact. It's much, much easier for me to get in and out of the pass-through when we're setting up and breaking down our campsite. Now, most of you probably don't know this, but I do have some back issues. And with that old system, taking it in and out of the pass-through just really wasn't good on my back. So I really, really, really appreciate the size and weight of this thing. I can easily pick this thing up with one hand right off the ground and go over and set it into the pass-through with no issues. Whereas with my old system, I had to use both hands. It's big and it's bulky. Had to, raise it up kind of high to get into the pass-through and kind of lean in there, which just wasn't good on my back. And then of course, connecting this thing up with these quick disconnects is super easy. And I know you can get other quick disconnects out there. Most of the ones that I've seen are either cheap plastic or they're made out of brass, but I really like these stainless steel ones. They're very heavy duty and I really don't ever have to worry about these things. Unless I lose these are gonna last far longer than I'm ever gonna be living or traveling in an RV. All right, now let's just really quickly set this one side by side, my old system, which I currently have installed right now. So my wife has water inside while I'm doing this video, but let's go set these side by side so we can get a real good comparison of just the difference between these two. This thing's less than half the size of my old system. And like I said, when this thing's full of water, this thing only weighs about 2/3 of what this thing weighs when it's empty. So obviously, as compared to this one, which is super heavy right now, this one I can easily pick up with one hand and do whatever I need to do with it. And before I get this thing hooked back up and put the old one away, let's just take a quick look at how easy it is to get these filters on and off to swap them out. So the top of the canisters have got a little hole in them, and all you got to do is simply stick it in there, give it a little twist. There we go. That simple. I even think that's easier to do than with this old system, and you got to get that big old filter wrench out. I really don't like having to do that. So this is just a lot simpler. Here's what our Tasty filter looks like. You can see these things are really small, and honestly, I'm surprised that they're telling me that this thing is going to last 3 to 4 months, considering this filter is about half the size of my old ones. So like I said, we've only been using it for about 2 weeks, and we'll keep you updated on how long these filters actually last. So there we go, pretty simple. I only pulled one filter off of there. I think you get the point. But to me, these are much simpler to remove and replace than this old system is, hands down. All right, so now that we've got our Blu Tech filter back online, let's do one more thing, and let's head inside and take a look at all of the different accessories that are available for these things, because this is, to me, really where this is gonna get interesting. So as with most sites, if you just go to the shop tab and go down to accessories, right, you can scroll through the long list. But let's just take a look at a few of the ones that I'm just kind of the most excited about. All right, so they've got their own flow meter here. We use a flow meter, but we tend to use just the cheap ones that we can find on Amazon. I like this one. Again, I like the stainless steel setup on it. I feel like it's going to be much sturdier. Next is they've got a black tank flush kit, and I'm not going to get into the details on this, but basically you can set this thing up so it's kind of a permanent installation, and you're not constantly having to connect and disconnect hoses and connections to flush your black tank. Next is the pressure regulator. I would never connect to a campground water supply or any water supply with my RV without having a pressure regulator on it first. Next, the 3-way splitter. So if you don't have that black tank flush valve, you may need one of these splitters so that you can run over your black tank flush hose. So again, stainless steel, gonna last pretty much forever. And then they've just got a slew of these braided hoses. This just happens to be the 25 footer that I'm looking at here, but they've got several different lengths on these things. And these things are pretty cool. I don't have any myself, but I've seen them in person, and they're just so much easier to handle and manage and deal with when you're breaking down and setting up, and they just take up a lot less space as well. Next, you can get quick disconnects for pretty much anything you want for all of this. This is one of the first things that I plan to get for my entire system when I get it all built out, is these quick disconnects. I'm tired of having to manually thread the hose connections on. It's just kind of a pain in the neck, especially because we live and travel in this thing full time. We're moving all the time, breaking down, setting up. So these quick disconnects are just gonna make that process a whole lot easier. They even make these quick disconnect to PEX adapters. So if you want to permanently get your Blu Tech system installed in your rig, they've got these connectors to make that process just that much easier. And then what I'm really super excited about getting my hands on is one of their water softeners. Now we do use a water softener. Again, it's a competitor brand, but again, this one's gonna be smaller, and I get it, we're gonna have to regenerate this thing more often, but I think I can deal with that for a smaller, lighter water softener. And then to go along with that, what I really like about this is they make this smart cap for the water softener. So if you're familiar with regenerating RV water softeners out there, you know that it can be kind of a pain in the neck. You gotta take the cap off on most of them, you gotta pour the salt in. It's just kind of a process. Well, this smart cap here basically means you no longer have to disconnect anything. All you got to do is just manipulate that cap to the right position for whatever you want to do, either the back flush or the regenerating process. You could have this thing permanently installed somewhere in the basement of your RV and never have to actually take it out to regenerate that water softener. So this is another product that I'm really, really excited to get my hands on and test out. All right, guys, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Again, we've shifted over to this Blu Tech water filtration system and we're not looking back. And again, that's mostly because of the space and the weight. I really appreciate the design of this thing. It's easy to set up, easy to break down, and we're never going back to that old filter system again. So if you're looking for a high quality water filtration system for your RV, head over to goblutech.com, and I'm gonna throw our affiliate link down in the description below, because if you use that link, you can save 7% on all of your purchases. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down there. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And then of course, make sure you hit that bell button so you're notified of all of our future videos. And until that future video, happy camping and stay safe out there, guys.